Hi, I will be showing you how to use Padlet. Padlet is something that I have used in the classroom, and I found it to be very helpful in helping students participate in the classroom, especially if they're hesitant to want to discuss things as a large group in front of the class. A lot of times students like to hide behind their screens, and they are more likely to participate when they could just type their responses or discuss them with a peer as in written format as opposed to verbally. First of all, when you sign on to Padlet, you will go up to the right-hand top of the screen and it will say Login. As you can see, I've logged in and this is my dashboard. I have created Padlets before. I have used this in my classroom, and this is something that I've been told that our administrators in our district also use when they're having meetings and trying to discuss things, as opposed to having one person speak at a time. This is a tool that allows people to collaborate where everybody could talk at the same time, where you're posting things on the board. Now, when you go into Padlet, you will get a dashboard. Yours will be blank when you first start creating your Padlets. Up in the right-hand corner here, you will see the words New Padlet. I will click on New Padlet because I want to create a new Padlet. And as you can see, it is creating my Padlet. It's all sunshine and rainbows from here. And my menu will come up on the right-hand side of my screen. You will see some symbols over here. And if I click on the plus, I am creating a new Padlet. And it should open up to my new Padlet. The other one was actually a Padlet that I had already created. Alright, yay, your Padlet is ready. Start posting by double-clicking or dragging a file anywhere or modifying your Padlet. Add a title, description, change your background, or privacy. And in this case, I'm going to modify my Padlet. And that's when you click on this little gear symbol here. I can give it a title, so let's just call it Test Padlet. Description, how to use a Padlet. Okay. And then that is just my basic information. I can add an image if I wanted to have an image appear. Uh-oh. Temporarily in read-only mode. Okay, it is coming back. Okay, so then I can click on, that's just my basic information, I can click on Wallpaper. And under Wallpaper, it gives me some templates of some backgrounds, and depending on what you wanted to discuss in your classroom, or as a professional development opportunity, or collaborating with classmates for a class. As you can see, there's a variety of wallpapers, and when I first started using this, I had no idea I could choose a wallpaper, and I think my students would find this very interesting if I would change the wallpapers for them. But you also have to keep in mind what is clearly visible for your students when they're typing their responses. In the classroom, sometimes the font can be hard to read depending on the background that you choose, especially if you're using a projector in the classroom. It may not project very well depending on the background that you choose. I'm going to go scroll back down here and look for my corkboard and make it look like a corkboard in the background. You can choose the next option as your layout. I like the layout that is already existing. This freeform, you can put your posts anywhere, so when a student clicks on a part of the corkboard or on your wallpaper, whatever it may be, if they click on it, if I click right here, a little box will appear for my messages that I post. If a student clicks over here, the box will appear there for them to type. Privacy, I can set it to being private. I can create a hidden link, and I can share the link with my students, allowing them to write, or I can choose view. They can only view it and not write their responses on here. It's important to keep it as a hidden link. Also down below here, it gives you more privacy controls where you can moderate posts, and as an educator in your classroom, you may want to use moderate posts so you can filter what your students are saying before it is posted. You never know what they're going to post, and sometimes they like to just say hi to one another. I've experienced that. So we've had conversations about what you can post and what you shouldn't. You can also set up notifications where you can send yourself an email anytime something is posted on a Padlet. Personally, I have just used Padlet in my classroom as part of a class discussion tool and not as a homework assignment because I really don't want the emails coming through. In my inbox, I get plenty of emails on a daily basis. If you click on the chain link, you can get the address which has been created for the Padlet that I have just created here, this test Padlet. So that would be the address that I would share with my students in order for them to be able to post onto this wallpaper and this Padlet. Now, one thing I will say is some people think this is difficult for students to remember. Personally, we use Schoology in the classroom, so I would just copy and paste this web address for my students to just click on. They won't have to retype it, but you could also try to create a custom address if you wanted to do so. And I can copy my Padlet with the post or without the post, so I can save it for future reference. I could also print it out when I export it. Here is a sharing option, and as you can see, I can share on a variety of ways. You know, Google+, Pinterest are some of the options, Twitter. You could export as an image, a PDF, Excel. You could also subscribe to it, email it, or obviously print it out if you wanted to do so. Now let's look at some examples very quickly as to how I'm not disconnected from the internet. I'm not sure why this is doing this. When I click over here, as soon as I get it back, I will click on the wallpaper, and this will allow me to post a response. In this case, I've created a test Padlet. As the teacher, I will double click here. It says title, example, what is your favorite part about winter? And then down below, I would type something, snow days. And then, of course, you see some options down here where you can add something else to your post. You can have audio, you can have video, you can add files, images, etc. Now, in this case, in the classroom, what I would do is in this top part where it's red, I would have students write their names, because when you click on the Padlet, it doesn't identify who said what. And in case of classroom purposes, I want to see which students are participating, so the first thing I ask them to do in the classroom is to post their names at the top, and then they will write their answer down below. So this could be my question, or actually in where it says test Padlet, I could also create that as my question. A lot of times I will give a scenario for this and list the class period, so I have documentation of what students in each class period have talked about, and then make a comparison in the next day in class that would show students what the other classes have discussed. And then, as you can see, you create another box, student 1, and then they will write their response. Student 2, and then response. Okay. And if a student wants to alter any responses, the student can go back to the box and click on the box, and you can edit your responses. Okay? So you can edit or you can delete your responses, and the students can only do that for their own responses. In this case, I am showing you examples of how students would do it, but when the students post their responses, they can only alter, edit, or delete their own responses. So student 1 would not have the capabilities of editing student 2. It's based on what you have posted. Okay? And I believe that is it. And you can move the boxes around to different places. And that's how you use Padlet.